Have you ever felt like job searching is a full-time job in its own? When you're job searching on top of a full-time job, you can feel quite unmotivated, especially after a really long day. I know I've been there, and a lot of my clients actually share the same sentiment because one of the questions I get often is, Emily, do you have any tips and tools or strategies on how I can stay motivated during my job search, especially because I really want to leave my current job? Yes, in fact, I do. I actually have 4 tips and strategies that I want to share with you today that will help you get a boost in your job search, feel really excited and motivated again until you can really hand in that resignation letter with confidence, knowing that you have a job lined up for you. Now, let's dive into it. Overall, whenever you feel like you are lacking motivation or excitement in your job search, it typically requires a reframe of the mind. I know this is easier said than done. Sometimes we just want to throw in the towel, or whenever we get like a rejection letter, we might feel defeated. But I want you to just know that a dream job exists for you. There's no way that you're put on this earth to be unemployed or underemployed, right? But sometimes good things come with patience. So I'm going to break down the 4 tips and strategies that I really want to walk you through. So if you are feeling like you just need a picker-upper or a boost of motivation for your next steps in your job search, you can return to this video at any time. Tip number 1 is to let your pain serve as your north compass. Studies have shown time and time again that people are more likely to make a change or really move into the direction that they really want to when they're holding their pain above their pleasure. Meaning, if things are just a little bit better on the other end, we're not necessarily going to be as motivated or have this great sense of urgency to make a really big drastic change. Whereas if something is really painful for us, there's no way that we're going to be staying where we are any minute longer than we actually need to. So let me draw upon a personal example. I remember when I was in my corporate career, I had a job that I actually really enjoyed. The people were great, the environment was awesome, I loved what I was doing on a day-to-day. The only downfall was that I had a terrible commute. Every single day I was spending 2 hours in the car, and I just remembered always being drained by the time I got home, and I ended up turning into a vegetable almost every single weekday because I didn't want to do anything but sit on the couch and watch Netflix and binge on whatever was in my leftover fridge. So what I ended up doing was, instead of focusing on all of the positives, I kept focusing on that one pain. The pain of not being able to see my friends, the pain of unable to meet for happy hour because I was just sitting in traffic day in and day out, the pain of having to wake up an hour earlier than I normally do just so that I can make it to work on time while sitting in rush hour traffic. When I had my pain so clear in my mind and the reason why I needed to get out of there ASAP, even the days when I was drained coming home from work, I kept telling myself, no, I need to go to this extra networking event because I need to make myself seen and known that I'm really looking for a new opportunity. And having that pain so clearly painted in the forefront of my mind really allowed me to move past all of the pleasurable things that kept me, what I would say, complacent in my current position, and really forced and propelled me to take the action and the necessary steps in order to get where I wanted to be as quickly as possible. So you can say by focusing on my pain, I was really, really motivated to get out of there as quickly as possible because it was just too painful to imagine this was what was going to happen for me day in and day out, like Groundhog's Day, for the next 6 months to a year. Okay, so as much as I focused on my pain, it's time to also talk about tip number 2 because it sounds a little bit contradictory, but there's paradoxes in life, and this one was to be grateful for everything that I did have in that moment because job searching takes time. So my tip number 2 for you is to be really grateful and really understand what is my current situation, my current environment, my current circumstance providing for me in this very moment that I can also, even though I want to leave, can also be grateful for, right? And so this could be a number of things. For me personally, it was a steady paycheck. I was grateful for benefits. I was grateful for being able to say I was currently employed in my upcoming interview. I was also really grateful for just having experience in a supportive team and boss and environment. Like, I really looked at all of the things that were positive so that I felt happy and excited and motivated for my day-to-day, while in the back of my mind, I knew that I was looking for an even greater opportunity. So I would say that having your pain at the forefront of your mind is really, really powerful to get you into action. And at the same time, don't discount all of the things that you can be expressing gratitude for, because the gratitude is what allows you to be appreciative and welcome even better opportunities to come your way. All right, now it's time for tip number 3, which is to really make a plan and commit. Committing means that you are being really strict with yourself, because we are all fully responsible for ourselves as adults. We can do whatever it is that we want. But if this is something that's really important to you, I would just ask that you create a plan and really commit to it, because it's easy to fall off track, especially when you're job searching. Job searching can feel like a daunting task in itself, right? And so I want to ask you, when are you at your best? When do you feel like you're uplifted? What's the environment or the mood, or where do you need to go that allows you to feel energized and excited? I know back in the day, whenever I came home from work, I knew that I was just going to be on the couch. And so instead of going home and having the possible distraction, I actually just made sure that every Tuesdays and Thursdays, like clockwork, I would drive to a local coffee shop right after work. It's actually great because I waited for traffic to die down, but it also gave me a chance to just have uninterrupted time and really focus on who do I want to connect with, really planning out my next week ahead, really doing my research and seeing who can I introduce myself to so that I can start to get informational interviews that, again, will get me out of my current workplace as quickly as possible. I have a client who shared that she never ever in her life had stepped into a Ritz-Carlton until she started job searching, because one, she wanted to just feel instantly inspired and lifted, and the interior was so beautiful it was almost impossible not to feel super energized and motivated. But it also allowed her to bump into people at the Ritz-Carlton who were doing business, and she was able to introduce herself to complete strangers just as she was sitting there on her own with a laptop in hand and a journal, really thinking about what her next steps were in place. So this could happen in so many ways. Again, I just want you to think about, when are you at your best? What would it look like if you were really to devote and dedicate yourself to 50 minutes incrementally throughout your work week, where you can really, really commit and stick to it until you start to see improvements. And the final tip I have for you is to always have in mind, how are you going to celebrate? I have so many people, especially ambitious professionals, who come to me and they say the job in itself is a celebration. And yes, while that is true, I also want you to think about all of the hard work that you're putting into this next upcoming career transition, and really having in mind something that you can get excited about. Life is all about celebration. I used to actually never celebrate, but now for every single goal that I achieve, I'm like, yep, I'm going to celebrate that. This is what I'm going to do. And having that celebration already pre-planned gives you even more motivation and excitement, especially on the days where you feel like throwing in the towel. So I just want to ask, and actually I want you to leave it in the comments down below, how are you going to celebrate your successful career transition? I really want to know, so let me know, and make sure that you really take some time to treat yourself and really plan, how am I going to acknowledge myself for this hard work, because I deserve this. It has to be something that you normally wouldn't do for yourself. So if it's like, I am just gonna cook myself a nice meal, I really want you to get specific. What is that nice meal? What is that ingredient that you never buy? What would that really look like to set the mood and the stage and the tone? Really visualize this, hold it in your mind, get excited for it, Think about it every single morning when you wake up or every night before you go to bed. What is this celebration? What does it look like? How do I get excited and feel this? And let that also serve as your North Compass. I hope you found this video really helpful and that you can start to implement all 4 of these strategies at once today. I believe that information is useless without action. So I want you to really implement these 4 steps for you and really start to, 1, be able to feel motivated in your job search as you continue that. But 2, you can also start to appreciate and really recognize everything that is serving its purpose right now for you, even if you feel that it's lesser than ideal. So really trust that a dream job is right around the corner. If you like this video, please like it. If you loved it, please share it. And don't forget that I have a free Facebook group called Cultivate Your Career. This is where the best discussions and support system is happening right now for those that are looking for a career transition. I'm there to answer your questions and I would love to hear from you. The link is in the description box down below. And until then, continue to cultivate your career.